Right, hello. Hello, can you hear me? Good. Welcome along. It's Chairboys Live, 45 minutes away from the biggest game of the season. 45 minutes away from the biggest game in Chairboys history. One game away from Wembley and making even more history. How are you feeling after Friday's sensational game? Are you chilled? Are you worried about it? How are you feeling after an unchanged 11 named by Gareth Ainsworth? We'll have the build up for the next half hour here. We'll have some famous Wycombe faces for you as well. If all goes well after the game, you'll have the chance to get involved. We'll have a special bonus Chairboys Live for you. I'll tell you more about that in a sec. First, let's welcome in media man Matt Cecil. How you doing, Matt?
I'm all right, thank you. I've just run from seeing you. You're over in box number 18. I could probably wave at you, and I'm over here in the press box, so we are adequately socially distanced, I believe. You're running the show for the first time. So, Friday was a bit of a disaster with our Wi-Fi up at Fleetwood, but good old Adams Park technology is going to see us through tonight. I can feel it.
Well, but before we crack on with the special guests that we've got, you were up there in Fleetwood. Talk us through what it was like. We all saw it through the telly. We all saw us smash 4 goals past a pretty immense Fleetwood side from what we've seen this season. Talk us through what you made of the game.
It was incredible. I'd spoken to in the build-up. I was telling we are going to go there and nick a 1-0 win with a set piece. It's going to be tight. It's going to be cagey. Fleetwood will have all the possession. We'll probably sit in and nick what we can. That's not any tactical insight I'd had from the gaffer. My own belief. I tried to stay away from the training ground in the past couple of weeks or so. So that's what I expected. Got absolutely none of it. What was it? 3 goals inside the first 6, and just a really entertaining game of football. But above all, a successful one for Wycombe that counts for nothing if we don't turn up and do the job tonight. And I think that's the message ever since the boys got in that huddle at the end of the game. And that's what they talked about. There's nothing to celebrate yet. We've won nothing. It's half time in the game. You don't come off at half time in a normal game and clap the fans and dance around the pitch. We're not doing that yet. There's so long still to go. But I won't lie if I say I've had a good weekend of reflecting on it, really, and seeing everyone's reactions on social. It feels a little more relaxed than it might have been had it been 0-0 or 1-0. But the boys can't have that attitude, otherwise we could be in trouble. So we'll leave that to us.
Before we get on, a Wycombe hero who's been following us over in Canada, let's just say hello to some people. By the way, we're not going to get you onto this stream today. As I say, if all goes well, we'll have like our own 606 on Chairboys Live later. Well, you'll be able to give your reaction. So let's just crack a few of these on. Hello to Gary Paul. Hey, Gary. Hey, Dan. He says, really nervy, strange being 3. This is what you said, Matt, isn't it? It's strange being 3 goals up, winning away 4-1, having our best result of the season, and still not really understanding what to make of this game. Thank you so much for that, Gary. Also, David Bassett, hello. Yes, I think that's right. Matt, how are your nails?
They're never good at the best of times, and certainly throughout the course of today, I've been pacing up and down. My watch has just buzzed to say I've hit my 10,000 step goal today, which I don't know how that's possible because I've been at my desk for most of it. But I think all the pacing up and down the office and doing laps of the stadium, soaking up the atmosphere, soaking up the eerie silence actually has made me hit my target. So yeah, no nails, steps. I'm sweating, but that's because I've run seeing you, and ready for kickoff now, I think. Hang on. Hi. In the press box.
I can't hear anything you guys are saying right now. Dan, I'm reading your lips, man. I can't hear anything.
Dan, it's the same situation. Can't hear you. Bear with us. Can you go and speak to Sky? I'm just trying to do a live. Yeah, let me know.
Is that better, Matt? Can you hear me?
Dan, you're back. Hallelujah. Here we go.
Absolute faff. Absolute faff. Right, let's get Mark back on. Mark, hello. Save this sinking ship, please, Mark. How is it over in Canada?
All good. Yeah. Excited for the game.
Ted, so good to see you, mate. How's things?
Yeah, I'm great, Matt. How are you doing, man? Congrats on your season, guys. You guys are doing a great job over there.
So talk us through everything, Ted. Some younger Wycombe fans might not know your story. You played for us in the late 90s, early noughties, were part of the FA Cup semi-final squad, and now you're over in Canada. Talk us through your time here and how you ended up over there.
Yeah, I grew up here, as you could probably tell from my accent, and I had a great time. I got an opportunity to come over there on trial, and it all worked out great for me. I only went on trial to one club in England, and I stayed there for best part of 7 years, and it was just fantastic time. Obviously, the FA Cup run in 2001 was great, but probably more importantly and a lot of your supporters that are listening to this will understand, is the affinity I have that remains with me despite not being there for the best part of 15, 16 years now. So a lot of good friendships, fantastic teammates, and couldn't have asked for a better club to represent, that's for sure.
Ted, I know you'll have seen on social there's been a lot of fantastic efforts from our fans. I don't know if you've seen the flag dedicated to Paul McCarthy. What a wonderful guy that served our club and very sadly left us 3 years ago. The flag says, "We went beyond our wildest dreams," and probably that team of 2001 is iconic in Wycombe Wanderers history for what they achieved. Firstly, how proud are you, to have been part of that with people like Macca, but also to see the current generation kind of going toe to toe with that team in what they're achieving?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, since I've left the club, you had the League Cup semifinal team. You've had a number of promotion teams, and they'll all etch their names in the history of the club. And this team is no different, and they can take a step further than any Wycombe team from the past. And that's the legacy that they're fighting for. I know it's funny when you're a professional footballer, money is a part of that game, but really, I remember Lori Sanchez saying to us, it's glory and legacy that you're fighting for now. And he couldn't have been more right. The money disappears over time, but the legacy remains. And Paul McCarthy also is a big part of that. And I know, Matt, you and I have had the opportunity to speak about Paul on a number of occasions. That FA Cup run, I mean, he was an absolute titan in that team. How many goals he scored from center back, blocking shots, just tough as nails, and a really great guy to boot. And of course, when I learned of his passing, like all of his teammates, it was an incredibly sad day. But to remember him in the fashion that you guys have, and to show the amount of class you guys have, or we have as a club, just it's such a great reflection. And Mac will never be forgotten there.
Ted, can I ask you a question? Matt and I and many fans have been wondering how you approach a game where you're effectively 4-1 up from the first half and you're on home soil. I know there's no fans, so is the home advantage, does it exist? How would you be feeling as a player if you were in the situation that so many of the Chairboys are in right now? How would you approach the match?
Well, I know Gareth's done an amazing job. I know I think his biggest asset from the outside looking in is his positivity. And I think what he will try and do in the players is to have a positive approach to the game, because I think the danger in that scenario is to come out and have too defensive a mindset. Now, I don't have, and many people don't have much experience from being 4-1 up in a first leg of a playoff semifinal. That's one of those things where you kind of have to learn by doing it the one time and maybe never experience it again in your life. So I think the only danger for them today, I think they need to approach the game the same way they approached the first leg. I thought they were on the front foot. They pressured Fleetwood very well. When Fleetwood did manage to get some decent possession, they got set and were very hard to break down. And I think they'll approach the game in a very similar fashion today.
Ted, talk us through your party. Have you got a group of you watching the game today?
Yeah, Sammy, my son Sammy, who's going to join me to watch the Oxford game a few months ago. Unfortunately, COVID hit and we had to flee back to Canada here. But also pretty much all my family and a lot of friends are watching the game over here as well. So we get our coverage of most of our football now is via streaming. Okay, and so the cool part is that because of the magnitude of this game, it's being showed on everybody's streaming provider, DAZN, and so anybody can have access that has that streaming service to the game. So it's great. We're all watching it. We're all excited for it. A little nervous too, which is a weird feeling. I haven't felt that in a long time.
Lastly, Ted, just before we catch up with a current Wycombe Wanderers top scorer, who should we be following out in Canada right now? Who's the Wycombe Wanderers taking the Canadian League by storm?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a couple. We have a new professional league here. We have 3 teams that play in the MLS, but we also have a new Canadian professional league. And the team that won it in the first year was Hamilton, and the team that ran them close was the Calgary. They're called Cavalry FC. So keep an eye out for some of the players that are playing in that league because they're starting to make moves over to Europe. And you guys have heard of Alphonso Davies, right? Bayern Munich. Yeah, he came through Vancouver, through the Vancouver Whitecaps, which is a local team for me here. And he's not doing too bad. So there's a few Canadians making strides in the game.
Brilliant. Ted, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the game. We'd love to see you back over here when we get a chance, all right?
My pleasure, guys. Take care. Good luck.
Cheers, Ted. Bye.
Dan, before you carry on, I think it's full time in the other game, and it's 1-1. Oxford and Portsmouth going into extra time. There is a hint that we may be slightly late kicking off here because Sky Sports pay the bills, don't you know? And if that game were to roll over beyond 7:30, which it might just about do, then we may be slightly late kicking off. But we'll keep everyone across that. For now, just keep watching us, go and get yourself a beer and some takeaway, and we'll have some football at some point.
Keep the comments coming in as well on the YouTube stream. I'll try and get as many up as we can. And remember, if all goes well, you will get a chance to have a chat, to give your reaction a little later on. Right now, let's get a Wycombe Wanderers goal machine for the ladies. Tara Woodward. Tara, hello.
Hello.
Tara, how you doing?
Not bad, you?
We're all right, thank you. We're looking at the watch, and I'm sort of stamping my feet up and down, just trying to keep animated here at Adams Park. How's your evening shaping up? Who are you watching the game with?
Everyone. I've got Wycombe's biggest fan downstairs, Luke Layton. Most people know him. My sister, my boyfriend, my mum, the dogs, everyone.
Tara, just give yourself the full props that you deserve. How many goals in how many games this season for the ladies squad?
I think it was put down as 19, but I got another one. So I'm going to say 20. I'm not sure how many games because obviously the season was cut short. So,
how have you been keeping yourself busy during lockdown, football-wise?
Bike rides. I did try running, but injured my foot, so stuck to cycling, walking, and just a little bit here and there.
Tara, you're I know a lot of the ladies' team have other jobs or do other things at the weekends, but you are one of the stalwarts in the terrace at most home games with your sister and Luke. How much have you enjoyed this season as a fan in that terrace with some unbelievable moments that there have been?
It has. To be honest, I never thought of the terrace when I was younger watching Wycombe, and then I think Luke got us all into it, and we were it's just a different vibe in there. There's nothing better than being in that terrace on a home day, but. Yeah, no, I love it, but I am missing it now, obviously. What else is there to do at the weekend? Nothing.
Can I ask a question to you, Matt, about the terracing, just because I don't know what the rules are? If Wycombe were promoted to the Championship, I don't want the full extent of the EFL rules, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but would anything change with us being allowed to stand up in the terrace? Would we need to go through some changes? What would happen there?
In our third year of being in the Championship, we need to upgrade the seating. So no immediate changes, but obviously we need to prepare for life in the Premier League at some point. So we might as well get there incrementally. So no immediate changes. Things like the floodlights need an upgrade. Our media area, we need more desks and power supply for the growing number of media we've received. So there's a few little changes, but if we're honest, although we know what those changes are, we have not looked at those just yet. There's tempting fate, and then there's jinxing things.
Tara, watching Friday's match, who caught your eye? Obviously, it was a number 1 to number 11 dominating performance from the Blues, but who really caught your attention? Who stood out for you?
I've got to be honest here. I was actually at IKEA on Friday evening, and I tried to get the game on my phone, but it wasn't having any of it. So yeah, I'll hold my hands up and say that I did only catch the highlights.
Did you at least get some meatballs from IKEA?
No, they're shut. You can't eat in. No, I just, yeah. I've got to be honest, hold my hands up. I can't sit here and go, oh yeah, so and so, because.
What an excellent choice for a pundit we've picked here, Dan. Hey, I was at IKEA. Sky Sports will be calling you next, Tara. Who have been your standout players this season? I know, you and the Beast have an ongoing battle for goal scoring. You seem to beat him every year now. But which other players have caught your eye?
I don't know. I think Jacobson has got to be obviously the number one. Just 'cause it's just outstanding, really. His performances week in, week out. It's just doesn't get much better than that. And obviously Bloomfield in the middle. Just that's it. Them two for me, I think, have been the standout players.
Well, I asked Ted this just a second ago. How would you be focusing for the match if you were in their position, 4-1 up, half time pretty much? What would you be doing as a striker, someone that just sniffs off chances? How would you be?
I think I'd be pretty nervous. I would be probably cacking it, to be fair. But
Okay.
yeah, our manager would tell us the same thing. It's not over until you have fully won it. It is only half time. So I would just be doing what I normally do and trying to score goals. And then when they come, they come.
And lastly, let me just see this. I've seen an amazing comment that someone left. Someone with the best. Oh, here we go. How do you fancy this for a chant? Can you see this? Tara, whatever will be, will be.
Yep.
Do you know Simon?
Pardon?
Do you know this person?
Not a clue, no.
Oh, well, there you go. Full up. Simon, thank you for the time and cheers for that. Tara, thank you so much for joining us. Very lastly, any news on when your season might be picking up again? Have they given you any more news about that?
No, not that I know of. No, I think we just sort of rely on updates from Dave to say when we can train and when we can sort of start going back to normal. But yeah, it's just a sit and wait game, I think. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, Tara, thank you so much for joining us.
Excited
to see you back on the terraces soon. And in 3 years, we'll get safe standing in the terrace as well. Cheers, Tara.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Lastly, before we get some... Hello.
I was on the phone because of some breaking news that kickoff will be delayed until 7:45 p.m. That's because Oxford and Portsmouth have gone to extra time. So we have a little bit longer to wait for action tonight. But yeah, 7:45 kickoff, which
now,
is a shame.
7:45. Now, in just a sec, we'll chat to the people that you kind of have to feel sorry for. I think the only people at Wycombe that maybe you have to feel sorry for to see really what goes on behind the scenes that you don't even see about first. I just want to ask you about this question that's come in. Bloomfield had a stonking game on Friday. I really thought, Matt. I know that you're quite close to him on a personal level. What would it mean to him as a 36-year-old who's played for the club for so many years now for him to get into the Championship? Just talk us through that.
I think it's something that he probably wouldn't have contemplated for much of his time with Wycombe because we felt so far off, didn't we, at some points? I mean, let's not forget, he was one of the older members of the squad at Torquay that time in 2014, and he was very nearly a non-league player, 6 years ago. And then we survived and, eventually got ourselves up into League One, and it was felt we might be a struggling team in League One, and even then the Championship felt a mile off. What is he, 37 years old, I believe, and he could be kicking a ball in the Championship for the first time next season. It would be incredible. And for him as captain, for everything that he and the team went through at Wembley 5 years ago, if we could complete this year and him lead the team out at Wembley, he was a sub that day, of course, but came on after about 14 seconds because of Sam Saunders' injury. For him to kind of right the wrongs of that day and get us up there would be phenomenal for him, phenomenal for the club, and I don't think there's anybody in football that would begrudge seeing him lead us out on day one of a Championship season at one of these glorious stadiums that await whoever gets there. So, for him and as much as anyone, I'd love to see this club succeed.
Henry Winter in the Times earlier on today put a little bit of football trivia about Wycombe, and it was, I can't remember how many years ago, but I think Tony Adams was in charge, and we were playing Rushton and Diamonds, and for Wycombe on the bench, Matt Bloomfield, for Rushton and Diamonds on the bench, Akinfenwa. It shows you the legends that make up our side. Right, speaking of Wycombe legends that you might not know about, they've been hanging on in the waiting room for a while, so I need to really thank them for this. But let's get on. The Ainsworths, people behind the scenes. You kind of squashed in, lady. We can see two of you. There we go.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Mum.
How's it going? How's your evening shaping up? You had lots of fun food and drinks so far?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm too nervous for that. I can't drink, seriously.
How has Agatha been over the weekend? Obviously, a phenomenal win on Friday night. Has he been quite cool and quite relaxed?
He's really calm, you know. I think I'm more nervous than he is. I look at him, I'm like, wow. But yeah, he's okay. He's like delighted to be where like you guys are, and he's just grateful, really, you know.
Donna, what are you expecting? Because I don't want to let too much daylight in upon Magic, but I have been in Wokingham town centre of an evening when Wycombe have won well. If we were to win tonight, or even go one step further,
Yeah.
how long would you let him kind of be out enjoying the moment before you sent around someone for him?
Yeah, I'm just grateful for the lockdown, you know. A long derby. Seriously. He parties hard, but yeah, you know, it's just like we have to enjoy every single minute, you know, because it comes and goes, isn't it? So we're just so amazed to be where we are, really. So it's just incredible.
Donna, Gareth gave you all the credit for his makeup when he went on the QPR Facebook page dressed as Gene Simmons from Kiss. How long did that take you? That was amazing.
Do you know what? It was like we delay it a bit, and I thought I'll be okay. And then we had like about an hour to go, and I said we need to do it. And I was struggling, I was doing it, and yeah, he came out quite well. Yeah, I was quite pleased actually. I looked at him like, oh, you look good.
Donna, are you going to take credit for his new slightly reddish brown hair as well?
No comment.
No, there we go.
Kane, did you watch the game Friday night? Were you able to stay up for that one?
Yes, we all did. Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? What it's just like seeing the first goal like that, you sort of like feel like that's it. You feel so relieved, but then they get the penalty, and I'm thinking, what's going on? But yeah, it was an amazing game. What a game, seriously.
How about this for the family? Kane, I know I've seen you around Wycombe a few times, but the whole family really. Who's your favourite player that plays for your dad? What do you think about that? This is from Ethan.
My favourite player is Alex Samuel.
Great shout.
Yeah,
what a game he had on Friday night. Such a good game.
Mine is Alex Samuel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex Samuel's fans.
Amazing.
Does that mean that you tell your dad off? Like if he leaves Alex Samuel on the bench for a game, do you tell him off when he gets home and say, Dad, you should have played Alex?
Not
Are you really the one picking the team, Kane? Is it you that's got us to the League One playoff semi-final?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And have you guys seen the footage from 1994 when your dad was playing at Wembley for Preston and he left heartbroken because they were beaten 4-2 by a team called Wycombe? Have you seen that footage?
I have, yeah.
We try not to remind him of it, but it's difficult. The last time we won in the playoffs, so it needs to come up every now and then.
Oh, amazing. Well, so is it just you four watching it tonight, yeah?
We've got Gareth mom and dad here too.
Oh,
Amazing.
brilliant.
Yeah, they're here.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh, do they not want to come in? Is that what's going on here? Yeah.
They're watching the Bournemouth game right now.
Okay.
What is the score? Are we still at 1-1 in the other game?
Can you ask them to give us a live update?
Yeah. Yes.
1-1. Who looks better? Who looks better?
Who looks better?
Very cagey, even.
Even. Quite even. Yeah.
Could go to penalties then. Kids, give us a prediction for tonight. I know we're 4-1 up in the first leg, but how do you see the game going tonight?
I'll say 3-0 to Wycombe.
Oh.
Do you know what? I'd be delighted, to be honest. Anything that takes the nerves away. Hey.
Here's the thing. I can't even.
Friday, imagine, that was just incredible.
I know. But I just something inside me. Just you being so bold, predicting 3-0. It's not sitting right with me. It really is, and just being that optimistic. Well, Ainsworth, thank you so much, and thank you so much for keeping Gareth happy. I'd say, because come on, we owe so much to that man.
Absolutely, he's a guy. And I know you guys are such a big influence on him, and he's such a big family person, and his heart is absolutely in the right place. And I know, how proud he is to make you guys proud as well. So it's fantastic. We love having you down at the club. It's gutting that you can't be here tonight, but there's not many people that can. So enjoy the game on TV, and hopefully we'll see you next season in the Championship.
Bye, guys.
Okay,
All right.
see you
Bye.
later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, I don't want to be too bold about this, Matt. I don't want to, jinx anything. We're just playing around here. So this is what Ethan's asked. Who would you like to win the Portsmouth game? This is a bold one for me. I don't really know. I'm very, very unsure. If we were to be lucky enough to go to Wembley, I don't know who I'd want to play. Because Oxford, when we went away to Oxford, one of the best teams I've seen in this league. They played us off the park.
I have a really rubbish answer to this question. And the question I ask myself is this: who would I prefer to lose to? If I really, really, you have to compute every possible scenario. We can't lose to Oxford in the final. So give us Portsmouth. If we can get to the final, give us Portsmouth. I think they're two evenly matched sides. Look where they finished in the table. Oxford had a belting run, I think, since Christmas. Portsmouth started a bit mediocre. We beat them here in September, and they were calling for the manager's head, but I don't think they lost at home all season. So, that's obviously what's got them to where they are, but they're away form, and obviously Wembley is a neutral ground. So, I don't know. It's a tough one to call. In the playoffs, it's a lottery, as they say, but give us Portsmouth.
I have to say, on a random note, Kenny Jackett, he's looking like he's been doing marathons every day during lockdown. He's the trimmest manager I've ever seen.
I have not noticed. I'll be honest.
There you go. There you go. Just a little thing. Ethan says Portsmouth as well, as does Gary. Right, that'll probably be it for us. I think, as I said, enjoy watching Wycombe on your TVs. People here have got so much to keep busy with. Please don't come down to Adams Park. We would love to celebrate what could happen when it's all safe and when we get a chance to do that. Hopefully, that will be later on today. So, if all goes well, we're planning to do our own 606 style reaction show, where it'll be us. I reckon Matt will probably be about a million things to do, including sharing a beer with Bloomfield. So it might just be me, but I want as many of you on as possible. I'll try and crack through you. So look out for, if all goes well, look out for that link on Twitter, okay? Matt, before we go, just don't predict anything, but what are you expecting from the game?
I think the delayed kickoff is a shame. I think that the organisation of that particular scenario could have been done better, and we'll see how it affects both teams. Really, the warm-up times and everything now get changed for the biggest games in these clubs' history. So I think that's wrong. So what do I expect? Maybe something a little bit disjointed at the start because of this preparation. I think it might affect one team more than the other. We'll see.
You think 15 minutes will do that? Yeah,
because think about the teams work to a schedule. Their meal times, their preparation, they arrive at the ground, they start the warm-ups 50 minutes before, and the game only got delayed, 30 minutes before kickoff, something like that. So I don't know what they'll do. They're still out warming out in front of me, but obviously now we're half an hour away from kickoff. So will they do a longer warm-up? Will they go inside for longer? I don't know. That's David Waits' problem. I don't want him to set nerves racing that it's all of a sudden going to affect us. It might hit Fleetwood even worse. So no, I just think we've got enough experienced heads in the squad that if game management comes into it, if Fleetwood are getting on top of the game, we'll find a way of slowing it down and getting things back in our momentum. So I'm confident. These boys have been absolutely wonderful. They've defied the odds time and time again. If you go into a game and think this might be a tough one, and they come up with an answer and deliver for us. So I'm so proud of every single person associated with the club this season, and I've got every belief these boys are going to do it tonight and take us to Wembley.
Lastly, thank you so much to Matthias for watching in from Uruguay earlier on this season. We had a radio presenter come in from Mexico. That was a lot of fun. And we are truly the worldwide Wycombe phenomenon, as I believe they're calling it. Amazing. Right. Well, thank you so much. Fingers crossed. I'll see you here later. Look out for the link. We'll tweet it out. We want as many of you on as possible. And yeah, fingers crossed for many things tonight, I reckon. Matt, cheers. Thanks so much.
I'm on the Blues. Catch you later.
We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.